We're changing our style a little bit here. I'm going to ask you a rather technical question. According to Carl Jung, what is the structure of the psyche? Option 1 is self, persona, and shadow. Option 2, id, ego, and superego. And option 3, reason, will, and the appetites. So Jung felt that the psyche actually consists of 3 parts. Now are you seeing the connection between what we've been trying to say, the Tame Your Dragon theme, and all this stuff about Jung's psyche? We're going to look at the potential dragon in our life, especially the dragon of low self-esteem or low self-valuation or a shaky identity. And this dragon needs to be tamed. You need to make him part of you. You need to integrate him into your story, into your identity. Integrate your dragon, tame your dragon.
Hi, welcome to Soch with hSA,
where philosophy, practical theology, pedagogy, and psychiatry meet.
We are continuing our series on Tame Your Dragon, but I wonder what this video is going to be about. So, Dr. Praveen, I think we need to check with Dr. Johan.
I don't know, dragon, monster, snake, I have no idea. Let's ask.
All right, viewers. Welcome to our next episode of Tame Your Dragon. Okay, so we've been looking at a lot of different dragons. So today we have a slightly different dragon, a very important dragon, but slightly different from the set of dragons we've been discussing so far. You'll get the point as we go further. So as usual, we start with the question. And after the question, we will look at certain responses. We'll answer the question and we'll round off with reflection at the end. And during the reflection, some nice music for you. Don't miss it. If you like music, stay till the end of the video. That's your reward. And you'll get some nice music as you reflect on what we've learned through the video. So let's go to our question. Okay, we're changing our style a little bit here. I'm going to ask you a rather technical question. All right, that's not been the sort of questions we've asked so far, but this is a slightly technical question to really scratch your gray cells. Okay, now according to Carl Jung, the great psychoanalyst Carl Jung, according to Carl Jung, what is the structure of the psyche? All right. So how did Carl Jung describe the structure of the psyche? I'll give you 3 options. And don't worry, if you don't get it right, doesn't matter. We'll learn together. Option 1 is self, persona, and shadow. All right. That's option 1. That's option 1. Option 2, id, ego, and superego. That's option 2. And option 3, we've got reason, will, and the appetites. All right. So that's option 3. Okay. Scratch your gray cells and think for some time. And meanwhile, let's ask our learned friends over here for some options.
I wonder what's the structure of psyche is all about, Dr. Praveen. It's all Greek and Latin to me. But ego is something like familiar, so I'll go for option 2, id, ego, superego. But I don't know. It's all Greek and Latin to me.
Speaking of Greek, yeah, the third one seems to be a little Greekish. But then the question is about Carl Jung. I don't think so he was Greek by any chance. So, maybe we need to combine our forces together. I'll also go with the option that you said. Id, ego, superego. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, both of you. I think you were very confident from last time's remarkable victory where you both got the same response and it turned out right. So you thought you'd get it again. But sorry to inform you, you are wrong. Okay, so they went with what is probably the most well known of these options, id, ego, superego. That, my friends, is Sigmund Freud's formulation of the psyche. So that's not our topic for today. So that's for another day. We're big fans of Freud, so we will not leave him out. We will explore Freud a bit more. So id, ego, superego is Freud's formulation, a very famous formulation of the psyche. I'm not going into it today, but that's the wrong answer for today. We're talking about Carl Jung. Option three, which you guys very correctly ruled out because of its Greek roots, is Plato's, you know, model of the psyche. Now, Plato was an ancient Greek philosopher, one of our favorite people whom we talk a lot about here in hSA. But today we're not talking about Plato. So I'm not going to go into this either. So option three is Plato's famous formulation of psyche. The correct answer is option one, self, persona, and shadow. That's Jung's famous formulation of the psyche. It was an add on to what Freud had said. So, Jung was, of course, heavily influenced by Freud. He slightly modified Freud's concept and expanded it a bit more to come up with his own very unique conception. So, that's what we're going to briefly be looking at today. First of all, I didn't tell you what the word psyche means. Okay, silly me. I should have started with that. Okay, psyche is the Greek word for soul. All right. I'm not sure if you saw that coming. We often think of psyche as mind or thought or things like that nowadays. And there's some truth in that. But that's not what the original word means. In ancient Greek and even modern Greek, the word psyche or suke means soul. All right. So that's interesting. Okay. So the word psychiatry, the word psychology, all of these words are basically talking about treating the soul or understanding the soul or learning about the soul. So that's something to think about. All right. Anyway, let's move further to our model of, Jung's model of the psyche. So Jung felt that the psyche actually consists of three parts. The first is the self, which stands for the actual person, the you, or the I rather, inside me. All right. So that's the authentic, the actual I inside me. It's very similar to the self or the ego, as Freud would have put it, or as many of the ancient Greek philosophers put it, the ego, the I of the thing. That's what Jung means when he talks about his self. Okay, the next part of the psyche is the persona. Now, that's an interesting one. All right. So the persona comes from the Greek word, which actually means these kind of masks that the actors in ancient Greek theater used to use. Right. So very often the ancient Greek actors used to take multiple roles in the plays that they performed. Now, they used to change their roles often by changing the mask that they wore. Right. So the mask that they wore was called persona. It is from this Greek word that the word person and personality and all these sorts of things has been derived from. So that's what persona originally meant. So that's what Jung is actually getting at. So the persona is the part of the psyche which talks about the way we put on an act in front of other people. So in different situations, we behave slightly differently. Often at work, we behave slightly differently from how we behave at home. When we go to church or to some other religious place, we behave differently. When we are in a community, we behave differently from when we are alone. So, this differences in behavior that we have in different contexts is what Jung calls the persona. It's often put on, and Jung is not usually very positive in the way he talks about or conceptualizes the persona. So these are the different things that we do in front of different people. All right, so that's the persona. And finally, we go to the third and most interesting of the three, the shadow. All right, now what is this shadow? The shadow is basically the part of the psyche that we are not comfortable with, right? So it's the part of the psyche, it's the part of us that we ourselves don't like. And I'm sure you can all think of things about yourself that you don't like. You might not like the fact that you're you know you're not as intelligent as you want to be. You might not like the fact that you get angry a lot. You might not be comfortable with certain physical attributes that you have, or certain achievements that you've had that you're not comfortable with, or certain wrong things you've done that you're not comfortable with. All those aspects of the psyche that you're not comfortable with are your shadow. And the shadow is often a very mysterious thing. We're sometimes not even aware of it. It's something that shows up at times when we're stressed. It shows up frequently in dreams, according to Jung, and it's something that really plagues us at times. And we're often trying to run away from our shadow. We're not actually very comfortable with it, and we want to get rid of it if we can. So, we are going to talk about the shadow as though it's a dragon. You get it? Now, are you seeing the connection between what we've been trying to say, the Tame Your Dragon theme, and all this stuff about Jung's psyche? We're going to look at the shadow as a potential dragon in our life, and especially the dragon of low self esteem or low self valuation or a shaky identity. So that's the thing we're looking at. So it's really important that each of us has an identity of who we are. And that identity should ideally correspond to our self, our authentic, real self. It shouldn't be our persona, and it shouldn't be something that we are not. It should be something that we really are. And it's very important to understand that we can't ever really get rid of our shadow. The dragon that's our shadow is part of us, and it also needs to be part of our identity of who we are. So Jung calls this the idea of integrating the shadow. So integrating the shadow into our life, or as we like to say it, taming the dragon. Now, we looked at some aspects of this actually. The negative emotions we're not comfortable with are part of your shadow. So, the anger, fear, anxiety, and all those things that we've been looking at the past couple of episodes, they're all part of the shadow. But today we're going a bit deeper into the identity, who you are. So, you can't run away from the shadow, but you've got to learn to integrate the shadow. And you can't integrate the shadow unless you first confront the shadow. You need to face your dragon. You can't run away from him. Remember, the dragon inside you cannot be captured, cannot be killed, cannot be avoided. The dragon inside you can only be confronted. And this dragon needs to be tamed. You need to make him part of you. You need to integrate him into your story, into your identity. And that is a very, very key part of becoming a whole person. So that's one major theme we need to look at, and to have a positive view of our own identity. One very helpful way of looking at this is to remember that in reality, we're all created in the image of God. And the Old Testament in the Bible, the book of Genesis, actually starts with this idea of human beings, both male and female, created in God's image. It's a great thought. It's a great idea, because it means that is why every human being has inherent value, not because they achieved something, not because they look good, not because they're very smart or they're rich or they're powerful, but because Every human being is created in the image of God. There is inherent value in the person, inherent value in you as you are, because including your shadow, and your shadow is part of you, it's not something else. And you need to integrate that into your whole person, and remember that your value comes from being made in the image of God, not because of your achievements or who you are. So, this is one way of thinking about how you can tame the great dragon of the shadow. And there's a lot more we can talk about in that, but I think we'll wind up with that for today. Integrate your dragon, integrate your shadow, tame your dragon.
Wow, that was a good finale, I assume, for taming our dragon and looking at a very deep topic of identity. Again, want to remind our viewers, we go into depths of these topics in our courses. We have our live course, Understanding the Psyche course, and the applications for the June July batches are open. You can check out the link in the description and register your seat for the upcoming batches of that live course. We also have a self-paced courses package, Understanding Child Development for Parents and Teachers. Again, these concepts are made simple and clear and presented in a clear way, which is understandable by parents and teachers to help their children and to help themselves also in dealing with these very deep concepts of having a strong identity and other aspects of it. So we have two courses in that package, the psychosocial development course as well as the cognitive and moral development course. Both of these courses for rupees 1000 inclusive of GST. So do check out either of the live course or these self-paced courses package, and may it be useful to tame your dragons as well.
All right, viewers, it's time for us to move to our time of reflection. So, think about what we learned today, Jung's model of the psyche, and especially about the shadow, and integrating the shadow and learning about how to have a wholesome identity. Think about the parts of the psyche. Think about the persona, the true authentic self, and the shadow. How can you integrate the shadow?
So, viewers, that has been an interesting journey. Hopefully, we have finished taming our dragons. But do like, share, and subscribe these set of videos, and do let us know, are there more dragons that we still need to tame? I do not know. From your responses, we may come back again to this series and this topic of taming your dragon. But at least for now, we are completing this set of videos. Thanks for joining us on Soch with hSA.
Thank you, viewers. Till we see you in our next video, it is hSA signing off. Till then, stay healthy, stay searching.